Once upon a time, there lived a very beautiful girl named Akim. This name was given to her on account of her good look, as she was born in the springtime and she was the only daughter of her parents. Her parents were extremely fond of her. The people of the town, and more particularly young girls, were so jealous of Akim's good looks and beauty form, for she was perfectly made, very strong. Her carriage, bearing, manners were most graceful, that her parents would not allow her to join the young girls in the society in the town. As in customary for all young people to do, both boys and girls belonging to a company according to their age. Akim's parents were rather poor, but she was a good daughter and gave them no trouble, so they had a happy home. One day, as Akim was on her way to draw water from the spring, she met the company of seven girls, to which is an ordinary way she would have belonged if her parents had not forbidden her. These girls told her that they were going to hold a play in town in 3 days' time and asked her to join them. She said she was very sorry, but that her parents were poor and only had herself to work for them, and she therefore had no time to spare for dancing and plays. She left and went home. In the evening, the seven girls gathered together, and as they were envious of Akim, they discussed how they would be able to revenge upon her for refusing to join their company. At last, one of the girls suggested that they all go to Akim's house every day, help her with her work, so that when they had made friends with her, they will be able to entice her away and take revenge upon her for being more beautiful than they. Although they went every day and helped Akim and her parents with their work, the parents knew that they were jealous of their daughter and repeatedly warned her not to, on any account, go with them as they were not trusted. At the end of the year, there were going to be a big play called the New Yam Play, to which Akim parents had been invited. The play was going to hold at a town about 2 hours march from which they live. Akim was very anxious to go and take part in the dance, but her parents gave her plenty of work to do before they started. Thinking that this would prevent her from going, as she was very obedient and always did her work properly. On the morning of the play, the jealous seven friends came to Akim and asked her to go with them, but she pointed to all the water pots she had to fill and showed them where her parents had told her to polish the wall with a stone and make the floor good. And after that she was finished, she had to pull up the weeds around the house and clean everywhere. She therefore said it was impossible for her to leave the house until all this work was finished. When the girls heard this, they took the water pots, went to the spring, and quickly returned with them full. They placed them in a row, then they got stones. They soon had the walls polished and the floor good. After that, they did the weeding outside and cleaning up, and everything was now completed. They said to Akim, "Now, come along. You have no excuse to remain behind, as all work is done." Akim only wanted to go to the play, so as all work is done, which her parents had asked her to do, she finally consented to go. About halfway to the town where the new yam play was being held, there was a small river about 5 feet deep, which had to be crossed by wading. There was no bridge. In this river, there lived a powerful Juju, whose law was that whenever anyone crossed the river and returned the same way on the journey, whoever it was had to give some food to the Juju. If they did not make proper sacrifice, the Juju dragged them down and bring them to his home and keep them there to work for him. The seven jealous girls knew all about the Juju, having often crossed the river before, so they walked all about the country and now plenty of friends in different time. Akim, however, was a good girl and never went anywhere, knew nothing about this Juju. When the work was finished, they all started off, crossed the river without any trouble. When they had gone a small distance on the other side, they saw a bird perched on high tree who admired Akim and sang in praises of her beauty, much to the annoyance of the seven girls, but they walked on without saying anything. Eventually arrived at the town where the play was being held. Akim had not taken the trouble to change her clothes, but when she arrived at the town, although her companions had the best bid and finest clothes, the young men and people admired Akim from far among the girls. She was declared the most beautiful woman at the dance. They gave her plenty of palm wine, plenty of fufu, and everything she wanted. So the seven girls became more jealous and angry. The people danced and sang all night, but Akim managed to keep out of sight of her parents until the following morning when they asked her how it was that she had disobeyed them and neglected her work. So Akim told them that the work had all been done by her friends and they enticed her to come with them. Her mother then told her to return home at once and that she was not to remain in town any longer. When Akim told her friends this, they said, very well, we are just going to have some small meal, then we'll return with you. They all sat down together, had their food. Each of the seven jealous girls hid a small quantity of fufu and fish in her clothes for the water juju. However, Akim knew nothing about this, as her parents had forgotten to tell her about the juju. Never thinking for one moment that their daughter would cross the river, did not take any food as sacrifice to the juju with her. When they arrived at the river, Akim saw the girls making their sacrifices and begged them to give her small share so she could do the same, and they all refused and walked across the river safely. Then, when it was Akim's turn to cross, she arrived in the water, the middle of the water, and the water juju caught hold of her and dragged her under the water, so she immediately disappeared. The seven girls were watching this, and when they saw that she had gone, they went their own way. They were pleased at the success of their scheme, and they said to one another, now Akim is gone forever, and we shall hear no more about her better looking than we. As there was no one to be seen at that time, Akim disappeared. They naturally thought their cruel action had escaped detection, so they went home rejoicing. But they never noticed the little bird high in the tree, who sang to the beauty of the Akim. Notice this. The little bird was sorry for Akim and made up his mind that when the proper time came, he would tell her parents what had happened. So perhaps they would be able to save her. The bear then heard Akim asking for a small portion of food to make sacrifice, but the girls didn't give. The following morning, when Akim parents returned home, they were much surprised to find the dog fasting. There was no sign of their daughter. They inquired of the neighbors, but none was able to give them any information. They went to the seven girls and asked what had become of Akim. They replied that they didn't know what had become of her, but that she had reached their town safely with them, and she said she was going home. The father then went to his juju man, who by cutting loss discovered what happened and told him on their way back from the plane. Akim had crossed the river without making any sacrifice. He has seized Akim and taken her to his home. He therefore told Akim's father to get one basket of a goat and a basket of egg and a white cloth and place it at the river in the morning to offer sacrifices to the juju. Then Akim will be thrown out of the water seven times, but that if the father failed to catch her on the seventh time, she would disappear forever. Akim's father then returned home. When he arrived, the little bird who had seen Akim taken by the water juju told him everything that happened, confirming the juju words. He also said that it was entirely the fault of the seven girls who refused to give Akim anything for sacrifice. The following morning, the father and the mother went to the river, made the sacrifices as advised. Immediately they had done so, the water juju threw Akim up from the middle. Her father caught her once and returned home very thankfully. He never told anyone, however, that he had recovered his daughter, but made up his mind to punish the seven jealous girls. So he dug a pit in the middle of his house and placed dry leaves and sharp stakes in the bottom of the pit. He then covered the top of the pit with new mat and sent out word for all people to come and hold a plate to rejoice with him, and he has recovered his daughter from the spirit land. Many people came and danced and sang all night, but the seven jealous girls did not appear. They were frightened. However, as they were told that everything had gone well on the previous day and that there had not been any trouble, they went to the house the following morning, mixed with dancers, but they were ashamed to look at Akim's face, who was sitting down in the middle of the ring. When Akim's father saw the seven girls, he pretended to welcome them as his friends, his daughter's friend, and presented each of them with a brass rod, which he placed on their neck. He then gave them tumble to drink. He asked He then picked them out and told them to go sit on the mat on the other side he had prepared for them. When they walked over the mat, which hit the pit, they all fell in. Akim's father immediately got up, some red hot ashes from the fire, and threw them on top of the screaming girls, who were in great pain. And at once the dried palm leaves caught fire, killing all the girls at once. When the people heard the cries and saw the smoke, they all ran back to the town. The next day, the parents of the dead girls went to the head chief and complained that Akim's father had killed their daughter. So the chief called them for explanation. Akim's father went at once to the chief, taking the Juju man, whom everybody relied upon, and the small bird as his witness. When the chief had heard the whole case, he told Akim's father that he should have only killed one girl to avenge his daughter, not seven. So he told father to bring Akim before him. When she arrived, the head chief, seeing how beautiful she was, said that her father was justified in killing all the seven girls on his behalf. So he dismissed the case and told the parents of the dead girls to go away and mourn their daughter, who had been wicked and jealous women and have been properly punished for their cruel behavior to Akim. Moral lesson: never kill a man or a woman because you're envious of their beauty, as if you do, you will be surely punished.